Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Because now I know when something happens in our lives that is unexpected, you have to go into it in order to ever have any hope of coming through it. So when you go, guess what? When you come out the other side, you grow.
Brought out more in me than I thought that I didn't even know that I had.
That has given all of us a great hope for what we can do with our own messages, our abilities to deliver, but most importantly, to deliver it in an authentic and very, very intriguing way.
Have you ever been in something or felt something where the only way you felt you could deal with it was to leave, get away? I thought that was the meaning of control. It took me 4.5 years to stop looking around the room of my life, of my journey, of my purpose, digging in cushions for a remote that never existed. Looking, re-looking, going back and upgrading, bringing in and pulling out things that do not serve you must go. Those things out in this world that are designed to bring us down, to keep us down, put their foot on our neck and whisper to us that we're never good enough, they don't whisper. They yell at us from all directions, top to bottom, bottom to top, side to side, side to side, corner to corner, and corner to corner, 365 days. When somebody asks you about yourself, don't you dare whisper. When they ask you to raise your hand, don't you dare half raise it. When they ask you something good about you, you scream it with all you have. Come on now, get up, get up. Tell me who you are. Show me who you are.
Greatest truth of all, that not everyone has to remain lost.
morning. Good morning. Good morning to who? To you. Good morning. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris. It is Thursday. One to go. Really two, because we just started this one. But so what? I'm looking in to the future. How are you doing today? How's your week going? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being awesome, phenomenal, perfect. Put it in the comments. I'm putting a 10. I'm putting a 10, and I'm putting a 10 again. You know why? Because every day that we get to come together like we are right now, every day above ground, every day that purpose is within everything we do is a good day. Can I get an amen? Let me tell you something. Don't wait until the day is over before you find that place within your spirit where gratitude is just splashed all over the place. Look for it right now because you're here. You're awake. Know this, not to be morbid, but it's the truth. Somebody somewhere laid their head down last night thinking they were going to be up just like us right now, but they are not. Okay? We are. So that means that we have a responsibility as well as opportunity. And today, we're going to do just that together. Can I get an amen? Listen, I want you guys to be interactive today. He's here. That's right. If you love country music, then you ought to know about this guy. If not, you're going to be my best friend because you're going to be so grateful to me for introducing to him. Jax Young is here, country western singer, star, all these things. He already got a big head, so I'm not going to go any further. I'm kidding. He is my brother from another mother, and we together have something that you better know about. If not, you will today, after today, moving forward. I speak about the License for Love podcast, and it is the heartbeat of relationships. We're going to tell you all about it today. But before we get Jax in here, next week, now, who's the guest tomorrow? I'm trying to see. What is the date tomorrow? 23rd. Oh, I have a doctor's appointment today. Oh, Joseph Michelli is here tomorrow. He is this guy has, I think, about 30 some books. He is one of the foremost experts in the world on customer service. He really is, works with all the top Fortune 100 and 500 companies. I found him on LinkedIn and read one of his books. And boy, I couldn't believe it when he reached back when I asked him if he'd come on the show. So he's here tomorrow, Joseph Michelli. Don't miss it. But next week, listen up, tune in. All next week is one of the most important weeks in Bathrobe Moment history, if you ask me. Every day next week, I'm featuring One Vision, One Heart, a nonprofit organization out of the Seattle, Washington area. They have gone on 2 previous missions of hope, first in Pakistan and then later in the Philippines, bringing food, resources, hope, love, all those wonderful things that so many of us take for granted. And they are on their way to South Africa. There are still tons of people being affected adversely from the effects of apartheid. So they're headed over there. And all next week, every day, Monday, we're featuring the work they did in Pakistan. Then Tuesday, the Philippines. Wednesday, we're bringing in all the people, the ones that are going and the ones that are there, waiting for them to get there from South Africa. And then Thursday and Friday, we've got some surprises on the horizon. But the entire week is a fundraiser so that they can fulfill this mission. When I asked them how much money they had made, and they've had over 10,000 people who literally drove, walked, whatever they had to do. And I mean it when I say walk. They showed me a picture of a 95-year-old woman with a walking cane who walked to their registration center to make sure that she was on the list to get whatever comes when they get there. And so they hadn't raised hardly anything. They said, we're going on faith. As soon as I heard that, I was like, you know what? We here at the E360 Network are all about changing this world. One story, one person. But when you throw kids into the mix, which they are the future, if they don't survive, neither will this world. We're going to help all we can next week. So start rolling up some pennies. Sell somebody those gift cards you got in the drawer or the console of your car that you're never going to use. Do whatever you need to do, but bring it all. Next week is a modern day virtual Stone Soup story. And we cannot do it without all of us. Okay, so there it is. More to come, more to come. Well, Jax Young is here, like I told you, and I'm going to get started because I can't wait. I can't wait. Here he comes. Listen, he's been here, but so what? This is my buddy. Put some love into it right now. It's our virtual way of applauding. Put some hearts on the screen because here he comes, Jax Young. Hey, what's that around our faces? Oh,
I'm pretty sure that's our License for Love logo.
it is.
Yeah.
Oh, can you do this? I'm not that good at it. It kind of looks like a pretzel when I do it.
You know the bicep? I can't, I can't turn it because of the bicep. So
You're so funny. Oh, look at you. Got on your little velvet jacket. Did you wear that to a CMA or some country music award show once?
no, this is new. I think I got this in the last couple of years, I think,
Is that
from
color?
my beautiful spouse Linda. So
Linda.
Linda,
Tell Linda I said hi. We love Linda.
we'll do it.
We do. I think that color is wine.
Yes.
What color do you think it is? Put it in the comments. What it is?
Yes, it is wine.
You look great. So how much that hat cost? Because cowboy hats aren't cheap. Good ones.
Let's just say that it was a very nice investment.
Is it like shoes? The bigger the shoe, the more expensive. So the bigger the head. Because I bet
when it
paid a leg for that thing.
when it comes to hats, it really depends on like the quality of the felt and things of that nature that you get. The best hats, and from my experience, are Ristol, and this one's a Stetson.
Oh.
Then I think I owned a Sarantelli. Is that how you say that? One time. So
I have tons of hats, but not one cowboy hat.
is that a hint?
Christmas, Christmas, da 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 da.
What size is your head? Do you know what size your head is?
Humongous.
Okay.
It is. I'm not kidding. No, stop, because I'm still triggered. Don't wait, let's change the subject. I'll measure it and send you the.
You got like a
It's
Baby
huge.
Huey thing going on, is it?
It's like a head. Listen, Jax, I want you to just have a couple minutes with everybody, personal time, if you will, and say hello.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna start talking about. We got some clips to show you. We're gonna go down the journey since we started the License for Love podcast back in quarter before this one. What month did we launch? Do you remember?
Oh my goodness. I think we've recorded into episode 20, I think, or close to episode 20 now. So we're well into the second quarter of the show, which is,
And it's so much fun.
there's a lot.
We're the diversity duo. Explain to the folks what that is.
Hashtag the diversity duo.
Be careful how you put this out there now.
Well, basically, the gist of the diversity duo is that I'm straight, he's gay. What? Yeah, I know, shocker, right?
Wait, you're straight?
Yes, sir.
We'll talk after the show. We'll talk. Now you tell me.
Lauren's definitely convinced otherwise, but I think that
I'm joking.
No, in all seriousness, though, with Lauren being the one that is, I think we said in the log line, like entertainingly gay, and me insightfully straight. I think the reason that we put our sexuality on there was because we wanted people to understand that, this is an opportunity for all voices to be heard, but not necessarily agreed with. And I think I said that the last time that I was on the show. So It's really cool because, here you have two people otherwise from two completely different cultures being able to come together and laugh and share insight and all this sort of thing, which has been, it really has been amazing. Like when I think about the License for Love podcast and the impact that we've been able to have in just such a short period of time with the stories that we tell, it's very humbling. Our family, we're in the middle of our family series that's out right now,
Mm.
which is really cool. Charlinda Scales just dropped, and yesterday,
Yeah.
actually, at 6 p.m. And she has an amazing story. The episode's called Just the Two of Us. And, she goes into some really cool things that otherwise the doc and I don't think would have the opportunity to really be able to learn, from the person that lives it on a daily basis.
Oh no.
So yeah, I mean, so you would be amazed um, at just some of the things that we've learned. The biggest thing with Doc,
Jazz hands. Go ahead.
right? The biggest thing with Doc is that he's had a lot of triggers uh, from some of the episodes.
Oh,
You
the
want to talk about that a little bit, Doc?
triggers.
Yeah,
I know not
like
what you speak. Wait. I know not what you speak of there. Oh my God, these senior things. Words just go wherever they want to. I'm like, no, stop playing. I kind of have on some. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And not just the obvious ones. When we've had an LGBT guest or a foster care person with some experience in there, or the military trauma, just life. Just life. Because what I
yeah,
love about License for Love is when we get in there and I mean, boy, I don't know where you find most of these guests, but I mean, people that on the outside, you would never think some of the things you find out. And so because you'll know when you guys listen, when Lauren gets quiet on there, it's because he's stuck going, what just happened? Really, really interesting process. I love it. So yeah, you're right. It's happened. What
no,
about
and
you?
it,
You've
it
been
it's
triggered.
been.
I've seen you get a little verklempt.
Oh man. So for me personally, for the
Yeah.
show, um, I I like to think of topics and I like to think of people that have such an interesting and unique story for that very specific purpose of that topic, and no one has let us down yet. I mean, another example from our family series that was last week's episode was Rob Shear, and just, I mean, listen,
This is
he
book.
just straight up says, I'm tired of people talking about my sexuality first. I am a dad who happens to be gay.
Yes.
Like, I mean, it, and that's the thing. Like, one of the questions, the burning question that we have from week to week is, do you judge a book by its cover?
Mhm.
And, when we had our guest on, Lisa Tahir, I hope I said that correctly. We're supposed to be coming out on her show soon, All
Oh
Things
yeah,
Therapy.
the therapist.
Yeah.
I remember
uh,
her.
I really was, I don't want to necessarily say that I was passing judgment because I make a big effort to keep an open mind,
Oh,
but I will say that I was definitely enlightened by learning about some of these holistic methods of medicine and understanding with body and soul.
mm,
Um,
yeah. Well, I got some Rob Shear for you because I thought you guys. Now we are an audio podcast, but we tape it because it's video too for us. For moments like this where we can just give you a little peek inside the hallowed world of License for Love. So here's a little bit of what's going on in there. The way these books, and I saw so much about what we're going to hear here And here, it was here, sight, not just for Rob as a person, but for what he's doing for people. So we'll start with this. You know, Rob came through the foster care system as so many currently. Approximately 437,000 youth are in foster care just in the United States alone. Over 40 years ago, Rob was one of those kids. He aged out of foster care at 18, became homeless like so many of us do, and pretty much across the board, carried his possessions in a trash bag. He went into the military, which so many of us do, as a lack of options. And then a few years back, Rob got married. He has a husband, Reese. They decided to grow their family. They started with 4 children, almost all at the same time. Boy. And then they added a 5th child later down the road. Cray. One thing turned into another. Rob is currently the host of Fostering Change. Now, that's a weekly audio and video podcast. And he brings in guests of prominence who discuss issues regarding foster care, adoption, LGBTQ+, and other timely and topical issues. It's now in its 3rd year. And Fostering Change is ranked, I know for the second year in a row, because I watch, ranked the #1 podcast for adoption. And oh my God, his podcast, y'all. About that. Now, Rob is also the author of the book I was mentioning, A Forever Family, Fostering Change, One Child at a Time. You may remember Rob. You might say, oh, that name sounds familiar. Yeah, I bet it does, because they've been featured in Comfort Cases, the nonprofit. I should have went further ahead. The Ellen Show, the Today Show, The View, NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, and that's just a couple of them. So I'm going to get Rob in here so we can get started, but that barely scratches the surface. Stick with us, and you're going to learn a lot more.
Hey, Rob, welcome to the show, buddy.
Oh, look, you were frozen, but
so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here to talk.
I'm so still. Yeah, we're equally excited. So, our guests are always backstage, while the doc and I are chumming it up for that first 15 minutes, but we actually stopped early so we could get you in here faster. But just want to kind of get a temperature feel for you with some of the things that we were discussing in that first 15 minutes. Do you think we're landing in the right direction, or do you think you got a different thought process on some of the stuff we were talking about?
I have to tell you, listening to both of you for the first 15 minutes, it's not like my thought process at all.
Love it.
Say what?
I do not consider myself someone who wants to be recognized as a gay man. I want to be recognized as a dad who just happens to be gay. And to me, that is the key. Just as I say to my children all the time, these are my children. They're not my adopted children. Right. They're not my children adopted from foster care. They are my children. And Reese is my husband. He's not my gay husband. He's not
just goes
my
off
husband,
the rails over there.
I know.
He's my husband. And so I look at things a little differently. And I also wanted to touch base on the fact of, 27% of, as you all want to call them, traditional families are raising children. I don't feel that number is accurate at all. I believe that there are more families.
Don't give it all away, though. They'll have to go tune into the show.
It's still there.
Flag out and raise their hand. And you also
I got to stop it down here. Because that's actually StreamYard. Yeah, I know. You guys, if they go to the Heroes Media Network, they can catch all of our past episodes.
Well, the cool thing is heroesmediagroup.com is where you can find out more about Lauren and I, and you can also find out about our episodes and things of that nature. Yeah. But wherever you get your podcast, me and the doc are there. So whether that's Spotify or iHeartRadio, and here's what's really cool. All you got to do is put in hashtag the diversity duo or hashtag LFL podcast, and that will take you to our podcast page, or I'm sorry, our business page, our podcast page, whatever you want to call it, on Facebook. And every single week, if you click on the profile picture, it's right there for you. We've made it super convenient for you to be able to find us as far as access to the episodes. So And the reason we started out as an audio podcast is because I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, and Doc is up in Chicago. So eventually, as we bring in more advertisers and continue to scale and grow our business, we'll be in the same room together. So pretty excited about that moving forward as
What?
well. Yeah. You don't want to be in the same room?
I don't know, because there's something you don't know. I do know that, before me, you had some other co-hosts, and I went to find out for myself. Girl, tell me what happened. How come you didn't stay with the show? And she says, I got one word. Don't be in the same room with Cowboy Jax for too long. I was like, why? And she goes, that's why I don't want to be in the same room.
This is
That's my
exactly
fart machine. I
this is
knew
exactly
there would be a way I could use it, because I could never use it on the podcast because we'll get canceled. But here, anything goes. I'm kidding.
please please do not use it on the podcast. I
Won't.
will.
I already
And
know. I know. I respect boundaries, Jax.
and these are our personalities, folks. Like, literally, you're just getting a micro example of how much fun the Doc and I, we really do have a lot of fun on the show.
do.
Like, it is. And what's cool is that our guest will say, this was so cool. Like, you guys dug so deep and you didn't ask like a bunch of the fluff questions. And, I love your banter with you all back and forth. And so, I mean, look, if you're just judging a book by its cover, I look like, some light-skinned dude from, the middle of nowhere. And Doc looks like some
ready yet, Paul?
dark-skinned dude from, like, inner city Chicago or whatever.
Hold up.
But the cool thing is like, honestly, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
And with our guests, as you see from U.S. veterans, community neighbors, non-veterans, and U.S. service members, it doesn't matter. Your
Nope.
sexuality doesn't matter. We're all just people.
Or your skin, or where you live, or what religion. It doesn't matter. But you said something there that a lot of people probably went, what did he just say? Community, what? Talk about that piece. That's one of the pieces that was new for me when we started doing it. And it was also one of the things that really pushed the decision for me to do it, because I was like, wow, that element is not addressed nearly enough. Talk about the community neighbor aspect, Jaxie.
Yeah. Well, Doc and I both are U.S. veterans. And so what that means is that, we served our country with the requirements that were necessary. And, we didn't serve dishonorably. Him and I both served honorably, but we're no longer in the military. And so I coined a phrase before License for Love called community neighbor. And the reason that phrase was so important was because I wanted people that had never served in the military to realize how equally important they are for U.S. veterans and what that relationship is, and how pivotal that relationship is with U.S. veterans as well. And it's amazing because when I talk to people that haven't served, when I have them as a title, that says community neighbor, they feel equally important. And I think that they're a very equal important part. I really think our society in general is made up of three cultures that kind of coexist with each other. One is the service member, which is fairly obvious, selective service and military. Two is the U.S. veteran. They're kind of the hybrid, right? Because they're living in the world where there's a lot of community neighbors, but they're not exactly like community neighbors because they have served their country.
Yeah, they have another.
And then ultimately, the majority of the country is our community neighbors, our non-veterans. So that triangle is really what sealed the deal for Doc and I to say, you know what? Instead of barking our opinions at people, why don't we let the people speak for themselves and then let the people listen and decide what they think is, culturally accepted, what they can identify with, what they can learn from. And It's been epic. I mean, there's really no other way to say it.
I love that word. I don't use it nearly enough. I should I'm gonna do a poster note. Use epic more. So, you know what I learned watching us do our thing? First of all, I will definitely start muting when I pour coffee, because if it's audio, it sounds just like peeing. Why didn't anybody tell me? And the other thing is, you know how you sit there like this? You were a good kid in school. You saw me. As soon as I didn't have anything to say. My ADHD was like, come here, you know. I was like, Lord, Lauren, sit your ass down. Wow.
Whenever no one is, like, when someone's not, like, when you're not talking, like, it is like herding cats. Like, it's amazing. Like, you'll hear like the little chimes go up. And that's the other thing about our show, y'all. Not only are we raw and real, but like we're not really like Slick Rick in the production. Like, we promise you that we're, going to go off the rails sometimes.
Nothing's photoshopped.
Yeah. But
right.
You do get great content from us, though, because we have a piece at the end that is like the final thoughts for Doc and I. And that's been one of my most favorite parts, because, the Doc is, you watch his show, he's awesome. So, shameless plug for the show. Yeah. License for Love podcast. You can find it anywhere that you get your podcast. And I promise you, I'll make you a deal. We'll do something amazing for you if you can only just listen to one episode.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, because I don't think you can. I mean, I think that,
I get it. Like, it's addictive.
It is.
Just like that. Don't go for it. It's in our grocery store. I'm sure you've seen it. That caramel corn and cheddar cheese popcorn. And it says right on the thing, it's addictive. Be warned. I was like, I ain't worried about you. 10 minutes later, I was in the car. I couldn't even leave. And it was like my hands were all cheesy. It was all around my mouth. It was all in the car. Addictive. I'm just saying. So let me ask you a question, and I'm going to answer. And don't do that thing where you're like, well, they're all good. Which episode, personally, for you, so far, of License for Love podcast, The Heartbeat of Relationships, which one has been your favorite?
The Heartbeat in Relationship Conversation.
What is it exactly?
The Heartbeat in Relationship Conversation.
Clearly, he coined it. Thank you. Duly noted. The heartbeat.
Yeah, because we all have a, we all have a heartbeat.
We do. And it's not just love relationships with like romantic. It's all relationships, as we just mentioned, with community neighbors. But which one stands out? Which one is your favorite so far? I'm curious. I know.
Well, being a producer for the show and a writer for the show, like there's absolutely a nugget that I get from each one of them. I would say the one that probably one of the ones that hit me the hardest, is the one with Jack Dempsey. And I think that's, from being a suicide survivor myself and currently having my son in the Navy.
Oh yeah.
To hear that story through his lens, and for him to take that approach of like, this is the aftermath of what happens, I think is huge, because how I feel about the word suicide prevention and things of that nature. And Jack and I have had, many conversations sidebar. And I think the one with Brianna Hamilton was amazing too.
Yeah, I love Mom. My favorite. Oh, I just love her. We're friends on Facebook now. And it's not just because she had a full-grown pig sitting 10 feet from her the whole show, because I wasn't even looking at her.
You're talking about Lindsay
Lindsay Gutierrez.
Yeah.
Yes. She gave a perfectly good kidney away to a perfectly deserving stranger. And just the fact and the way she laid her journey out, she showed every part of it, the scar, all of it. And it really made me look at, how we all had these different depths of what being of service to others means to us. I had never really looked at someone that could do that as that's their way of being of service to people. And she's just incredible. So that's my favorite by far.
Yeah, I
I
thought
have a bunch of others too.
I have to say this. I thought Christian Stevens's one was epic too, an active duty for mental health. To have a 25-year-old man to have the courage to go to his chain of command and be able to say, hey, I don't feel like something is going on, something here isn't right. And to take those steps, I think it says a tremendous amount for our youth and all of our women. Like every single story from every single woman that we've had on. I mean, there's episodes coming out soon for October called "Beauty in the Eye of the Beholder," where we're gonna blow your mind. Like there is just some amazing things that are coming up in the show. So I mean, honestly, I think what's so cool about the show and the way that it's written and they're produced the way that it is because we want you to walk away with something from every single episode, whether it's a laugh or it's a cry or it's an epiphany, right?
All those. I
Mhm.
was just a human emoji machine. Did you see that? Go through them again. I'll do it again. You might leave, Sam.
Hold on, folks. This is what I got to deal with on a weekly basis. So let me
That's not strange.
I said
Most-
whether it's a good cry, whether it's a good laugh or an epiphany, right? Yeah.
How do you know one day they're not going to have that as a job like voiceover, where you do never mind. Listen, we're going to be right back in just a second. Well, okay, 2 minutes with more of Jax Young, Cowboy Jax. Them taters ready yet, Paul? And we're going to find out a little bit about what are you planning for the rest of the year. I know December. I want you to drop some of those out there, kind of like dangle the carrot. And then we're going to talk about, well, you'll find out. We'll be right back. Don't go away. This is a great time to share out the broadcast. Welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michael Sayers. Before I get Cowboy Jax back in here, and Amy Joy, you just saw her book went to #1. Thanks to all of you wonderful ambassadors out there. Thank you so much. Get your shit together. Awesome book. I read it. Still got to write a review. The hard copy and the ebook both are available at Amazon. Coming up this Sunday, the 25th. Make sure you get it so you can get your shit together. I love that title. But before we get just back then, I started getting my shit together a minute ago, and it's still a daily chore. One of the things that I can speak from a place of authority on is when I ditched the Diet Coke and exchanged it, traded up, if you will, to V8. 60 calories in every one of these little babies. Used to be just 2 servings of vegetables. I don't know how they did it, but they squoze a whole entire another half serving. So it's now 2.5 inside the same can. I don't know how they did it, but they did. Listen, easy to find, easy to love. Try it. Head down the juice aisle at your local grocer. Tell them Lauren sent you. Hi, Jax.
That was beautiful, Doc.
You know what I just realized? That is, I don't ever want to acknowledge you while we're in a TSA line. Can you imagine? Hi, Jax. He said hi, Jack. Beautiful, right? I'm just saying. You got to think about these things because, you know, those of us who don't have filters, things just come out of our mouths. If that's you, say, I don't have a filter in the comments.
Well, I'm behaving because I'm on your show today. So
You sound like you ate a gummy.
I ate a gummy?
Yeah. You never had a gummy? A CBD?
No, sir.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, little country Richie Cunningham. I have, and I tell you what, they make me like that. I do them so I can go sleep. Oh, yeah, I'm cool, Jax. So, Jax, that hat, I want to
Yes,
ask
sir.
you, the white one or the cream-colored one that was in that clip,
Mm-hmm.
I love that hat. It does a little something else on the side that one's almost trying to do. Did you make it do that, or did it come like that?
No, it's called shaping, and you get every single one of your hats shaped.
This part.
All of this.
And what does that refer to? What is the legal name?
It's called shaping.
What's that part of the hat? The
Oh,
brim?
this here? This is called the brim.
Okay, the brim. That's what I thought. I got a
Yeah.
couple brims. That's a hood term too. Give me my brim. So, Jax,
Yes, Doc.
anything you can tell us about December without giving it away? I'll shut up because I'm a spoiler. You know, I'll throw some stuff out there I shouldn't. Then you'll want to whoop me. So,
Sure. I can say that in November and December
yeah.
and October, actually, we're gonna give y'all some amazingly mind-blowing stories. Like, that's really all I can say.
Jax,
Yeah.
what about
Nope.
the title?
No,
Can you
nope.
throw a title or two out?
No. Okay, all right. This was a title I was really excited about as a writer. More Than Meets Your Why.
More than who?
More Than Meets Your Why.
More than meets your why.
Yep, that's going to be one of our episodes. And then in December, I think we're toying around with calling it Revelations.
Oh yeah, I love. Ooh, you guys, I know you think you know what that's going to be about. No, you don't. No, you don't. I'm telling you. So let's give a little shout out, if we could, to the wonderful platform that we're on. We'd both be remiss if we didn't bring up Adam Bird and Heroes
Oh,
Media
yeah.
Group. Tell everybody about it because you are the one who decided and said, "Hey, Lauren, when we do this, this is where I'd like to do it." And it was a no-brainer once I got in and saw. Talk about Adam Bird and Heroes Media.
I mean, y'all just need to go to heroesmediagroup.com, I think it is, and check them out. Adam Bird is an amazing guy who works, 24/7 for the U.S. veteran community. He provided an amazing opportunity for Lauren and I to be our distribution point from their website for our show, and has just been an absolute treat up until this point to be able to deal with. He truly has. So I suggest that if you are a U.S. veteran or somehow U.S. veteran affiliated, or you just have a really great idea for a podcast, join the Heroes Media Group family, and you won't be disappointed that you did.
You sure won't. That's the truth. Hats off, literally, to Heroes Media Group. I want to ask something because if I ask you privately, you'll probably lie to me about it. So I'm gonna do it right here in front of everybody. So
I'm an open book, Doc.
okay, well here goes. Want to hear? Here it goes. So Jax,
Yes, sir.
is there anything that is a pet peeve for you that I do on License for Love?
Oh, shit.
Because I get to answer the same question. So
Oh.
go for it. I got mine ready.
I would say that one thing that we've been working on together as the hashtag the diversity duo is making sure that when the doc wants to get a thought in, that we help him to be able to get the space. Because when he doesn't get the space that he wants to get his thought in, he can he can express that very vividly without saying a word. Let's leave it at that. Doc?
It's uncanny. This is what I'm saying, brother from another mother, because that's the same pet peeve I have, except it's framed just a bit differently. It goes like this. So, when you're asked a question by a certain individual should give you time to answer it before going into the next question. Because when that doesn't happen, some people break one of the agreements. Guess which one? Taking it personally. But I'm working on it. Anyway, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we're working on it. I mean, listen, that's the great thing about the show, y'all, is that we're very much about giving you the most bang for your buck, for lack of a better phrase. But there are some fun moments where we go off the rails, or we get heated about stuff. Remember, the show is about being understood, not necessarily agreed with. And so sometimes the doc and I, we don't necessarily agree.
It is true. And it's funny because for a couple minutes there, we'll forget that there's a guest there or that we're on the podcast. And we'll be like, no. So, and I wondered how that was going to land until I listened. It took me 3 or 4 weeks to find the courage. I don't know what that is. I might talk to my therapist about that. To listen to one of our podcast episodes. But once I did, here's what I loved the most was I was listening, honestly, and I was prepping dinner. That's when I catch them now, when I'm prepping dinner. And you can just ask your Alexa to play License for Love. Careful, because she'll start talking. And you can pause it and come back and pick right up. Anyway, I was chopping and stuff and doing what I was doing. And I was responding like an audience member, even to the things I was saying and what you were saying. I forgot it was you. And I forgot it was me. And I forgot it was us.
I know. I'll literally laugh out loud sometimes. Like,
yeah, just uncanny. But I love that about it. And, I want to say this, you guys. So when your time comes, I've always been very careful about hitching my wagon, to anyone, or anything. Because you know how people are. They'll say, and then they won't be diligent. They won't, they don't, you feel like they're not pouring in what I pour, how that stuff goes. But that's not been the case here. I love, and I want you to talk about this for those who may be thinking of doing something similar, whatever it is, but it means combining forces, the power of we, not just always the power of me. How did you go about when it was time to divvy up who did what? Was that a part of your recruiting process? Because you recruited me and you'd already tried a couple,
well, I think it's like anything in entertainment, the first draft sucks sometimes. So it's got to evolve. And I just want to give a shout out to our whole entire team. Shane Ongram, who does the editing, is amazing. Linda Sullivan, who does the editing, is amazing. Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris, who's my co-host, is amazing. And then, of course, the guests.
He gets multiple bell rings. Okay, that's enough.
We good?
How often do I get to do that?
I don't know. I don't even know why you did it this time, but that I love you. But anyone that's interested in wanting to do a show, first of all, I've been in the professional entertainment industry for over 20 years, so I am available for your business consulting and your creative direction consulting. I've worked with some of the biggest brands in the world, arguably. I'm not just a country music singer, although I am a professional singer-songwriter, so I can help you with that too. Shameless plug. But yeah, I mean, listen, just really sit down and think to yourself, what do I want to do with this show? And understand that going into it, it is absolutely a business,
Mhm.
right? And that, there's going to be pain, there's going to be angst, there's going to be learning more than anything. And it's never going to go the way that you want it to go. It's going to go the way it was intended to go. So, three things: have a team, come from a place of purpose, not agenda, and ultimately leave the world better than what you found it. That's what we do on License for Love, in my
And
in
that's
my
what you
opinion.
do, Jax.
Yeah.
I just love you. I really do.
Well,
You're one of the easiest people I've ever had the pleasure of working with. Easy, um, it's a loosely used term here, but you all get it. Anyway, I'm just kidding. And that's one of the things I love too, is how easy it is to set you up to.
okay, this is Bathrobe Moments, not License for Love. So make sure you keep your Bathrobe Moments hat on, Doc.
I am trying. I'm trying. It's. But you know what? I love it because what we do and what I do, and I think that's a big part of when people do anything. It should like be like a rainbow, not just because that's a gay thing, but it should it's like graduated colors, that blend and bleed into each other.
Yes.
Because you have those core things that are any size fits all. So everything you do from that place of service and that place of authority, that sacred space, there are things, some of it goes into everything you do. It's like the bones of whatever you're building. You know what I'm saying? You got the
Mm.
same framework. So tell people again where and when to get the content. And because we only have, unfortunately, 4 minutes left.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun. Hey, y'all, you can check us out every Wednesday on our Facebook page, License for Love Podcast, at 6 p.m. is normally where we drop the episode there. But the great folks over at Heroes Media Group, they get the episodes in advance. And if you're subscribed to iHeartRadio or Spotify or wherever you get your podcast, it's going to hit you sometime every Wednesday. So
Every Wednesday.
and there's just a couple easy hashtags. One is hashtag the diversity duo that'll get you plugged in. And then the other one is LFL podcast, hashtag LFL podcast. And that'll get you right to our page. I really want to say, and I mean this with all sincerity.
Can I give you a Jerry Springer moment here? So you
Sure.
can, I feel it coming. I know him. And I wanted you to do that. So go ahead, have your Jerry Springer thought or Cowboy Jack's moment.
Yeah. I really want to say that we are living in a society nowadays to where if we don't get a place to where we can have conversations and things continue to be so polarizing and we don't really understand the value for the sake of redundancy and understanding each other, things are going to get worse and worse. The whole point of License for Love podcast is so no matter what your sexuality is, no matter what your culture is, we want to be able to give you we want to be able to give you a voice to be understood, but not necessarily agreed with. I can't express that enough. Please, if you listen to the show, write a review. It helps so much in podcast. Our main demographic is women from age 25 to 45 and all of the LGBTQ plus community, although other demographics
Allies.
will probably get something out of it. But this is who we're wanting, if your product or service applies to these specific demographics on the onset, we want to have a conversation with you. And lastly, please follow our Facebook page and engage because y'all know nowadays that it's all about digital. So
All about digital.
It's right there.
Yes.
on the thing. But this show really isn't about mine and the doc's opinion. It's about telling the stories and affording people the opportunity to be able to make the decision on their own. But you will understand a lot of different culture that you may not have been exposed to. Again, in military service, community neighbor non-veteran, and U.S. veteran culture.
Thank you, Jax. Now listen, before we go, you know I'm very needy, so
What are you?
go ahead.
What are we
Plant one
doing
right
here? How do you? Can I get in there? Oh,
Yeah.
I can. Look at that. Look
There.
at that one eye.
See
Look at
that?
that eye. That's creepy.
Oh, that's
All right.
pretty good. I should have done a
Yeah.
screenshot.
And I see.
Next time. Listen, speaking of next time, I'll see you all tomorrow morning, God willing, right on the front porch, out on the front stoop, where we'll do it all over again. Don't forget, tomorrow is Joseph Michelli. Going to show us all how he does it, is how he has become one of the top authorities in the world on what customer service, not just at work, but in your life in general, is really all about. That and more tomorrow on Bathrobe Moments. Jax, thank you so much. And thank all of you. We couldn't do it. We wouldn't want to. And we love you with everything we have. And there's nothing you can do about it. See you tomorrow. Get out today. Be that blessing you'd like to receive. See you later. Thanks, Jax. Bye, everybody.
Appreciate y'all.